My name is Trey Godfrey. I am Executive Director of 100 Black Men Metro Baton Rouge. I've been in this position for a little bit over a year and a half now. It's an organization that is near and dear to me. My father was the founding president of this chapter back in 1993. So I feel like I grew up with this organization. And as a career entrepreneur, I'm excited to be here. And we have been rocking and rolling over this last year and change with Wise Guys being probably our highest performing program. Also want to introduce you to, and you all will hear from later on, a gentleman by the name of Michael A.V. Mitchell, who for the last 3 years has been our primary facilitator. And he will have an opportunity to share some of his wisdom from having done this very, very successfully in the last few years. But what we'll do is I'll talk briefly about the history of the 100, take a look at our other programs, and then talk about our Wise Guys experiences, the challenges that we faced, how we've succeeded with Wise Guys, and then let you hear from our superstar from there. So, Ryan, if you'll take us to the next slide, we'll go and get started. So the 100 Black Men of America is an organization that's dedicated to improving the quality of life in African American communities. So what happened in 1963, 7 men in New York City, including former Mayor Dinkins, who was the first Black mayor of the city of New York, including baseball legend Jackie Robinson and 5 others. This group of men were mentoring a cohort of boys with the agreement that if those boys stuck with these mentors throughout high school and graduated and went on to college, that these men would go on and would pay for these young men's college educations. And so what ended up happening was exactly that. Those young men went on and each of them graduated from college and went on to lead successful lives. And it was Mayor Dinkins who at that point said this. He said, if a small group of us like this can affect such powerful change with these young kids, then you just give me 100 good Black men and we can go on and change the world. And it was from there that name, that moniker, 100 Black Men stuck. But there are over 100 chapters of 100 Black Men worldwide throughout the U.S., in the Caribbean, and in London, with over 10,000 members of these chapters impacting over 100,000 students annually. Next slide. So the organization stands on 4 pillars, and they are mentoring, education, economic development, and health and wellness, with leadership development wrapped into everything that we do. So of the 102 chapters, we all look different. We all have different programs. We all do different things. Some chapters will weave each one of these pillars into their mentoring program, for instance, because that's the one thing we all have in common, is that we all mentor. Other organizations like ours, we sponsor individual programs within each one of these core 4 areas, and we'll hit those very quickly. Okay, Rodney. It'll take. So within our chapter, the 100 of Metro Baton Rouge, our mission is to serve as a catalyst to empower Black males to individually and collectively reach their full potential. The tagline or the motto of the organization is what they see is what they'll be. And so the 102 now members of this organization are all volunteers, and they serve as mentors to the young students in our programs, understanding that young people will always idealize the images and the narratives that they see and they hear the most. And it offers a very strong counter narrative for them to be able to see very polished and professional Black men who are coming back to spend time with them. And the members of this organization come from a diversity of background, profession, etc. But the thing, the tie that binds us all together is a desire to serve probably the most underserved population in our community. Over the last 26 years, we've impacted thousands of students in the Baton Rouge community. And in any given year, through our 7 programs, we will touch somewhere between 1,200 and 1,500 school-aged kids. So finally, I've done a whole lot of talking. I want to introduce you all to A.V. Mitchel. He is a speaker, a minister, a recording artist, a radio host. I left that one off. And a community organizer, and a young man who can go into a classroom of some very difficult young people, and somehow I don't know what his secret sauce is, but somehow get buy-in about what he's teaching, and direct these lessons in that curriculum. So, AV, I'm going to invite you to take my seat, man, and to share some of the lessons. And by all means, if some of you have questions about what happens in the classroom or in the planning stages for that, please do direct them to AV.
Okay. Hello, everyone. How you doing? My name is Michael A.V. Mitchell, and I'm just humbled to have the opportunity to work with these young men that we work with on a consistent basis. I think one thing that may, well, first of all, there's been many facilitators that we have trained in the past, but I think one key thing is just being able to be consistent and persistent and committed to this process of facilitating, because in the beginning it was rough. And it can be rough when you go into some of these apartments and you're wondering where the kids are, and you literally have to look down the street and you see someone's mom outside and ask her, hey, can you send your son down so we can get the training done? Or, have to hold up the class a few minutes so he could go down the street. You gotta go down the street and get a slice of pizza that his brothers and sisters had. So that was like the beginning of that process, and just being in those elements in order to make sure you accomplish your mission. So that is sort of like a weeding out process of who wants to be in an uncomfortable situation. But I've just been in those situations for a while. I've done a lot of community engagement for years. Actually, I'm a community engagement specialist at the moment. I speak often at schools and different places. So I realized that you really don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So when you go into those spaces, especially such as youth challenge program, is though they've heard a story from pretty much everyone, their parents, whoever they tried to get them into them before that, maybe in the system before they were told to go to this place. And some of these kids in the places, they really are not that bad. The parents just wanted to send them over there so that they can get a GED or something like that. And their lives are pretty much on track is what I'm trying to say. They're just trying to get their diplomas. But the process of it is gaining their trust in any type of community work or any work that you expect to have some type of sustainability. You have to gain trust with your audience. So when I go there, I let them know, hey, I don't know what you went through earlier with your teacher before I walked in the room. I don't know what you went through with the cadres that are here at this facility or whomever else, but you and I have a genuine relationship that starts when I walk in here, and it ends for the day when I walk out, and we'll start all over again the next day. And then once I get them to dismiss those emotions, they are willing to go ahead and listen to me longer, because they don't see me as just another teacher or just another guy who wants to tell us what to do. And with sharing the text, I also give them, personal experiences, things that I've experienced when it comes to goal setting and just masculinity or just dating violence, different things that are in the text already, but making sure that it's relatable, that is relevant to the audience that we're reaching out to. And once you can keep them engaged, and of course, you always have a couple guys in the class that want to do what they want to do. And just my training as a speaker is, when the guy wants to disrupt, you allow him to disrupt for a moment. And majority of the time, once he gets that out of his system, then if you've given him that attention, he'll allow the other class to learn.